Hello, and welcome to Totally Schway Flipside, a podcast about whatever the hell I want it to be about. My name is Mary,
And my name is Luke.
and today I'm just going to jump right into it.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to talk about some festive movies. Our favorite festive movies, you could say.
So we're going to do 2 movies each?
2 or 3.
Well, I was going to suggest, actually, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. Perhaps we could talk about the most recent festive movie we watched first, and then do our 2.
Yeah. So Luke and I went to the cinema. I was about to say the exact cinema, but I'm not going to do that. We went to the cinema a couple weeks back, and we went to see Red One.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, I really liked it. Like, I really, really liked it.
Yeah, I know it's had a lot of criticism online because it's kind of old-fashioned. It's very much like an early 2000s action movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they do everything in it completely deadpan, even though it is a comedy. It absolutely is a comedy. It's supposed to be absurd. It's supposed to be silly.
Mm-hmm.
But they play it completely straight.
Yeah. But the humor was great. The acting was great. Oh my God. J.K. Simmons as Santa Claus.
Mm.
Can we just have him as Santa Claus in every movie? Please? The Rock was really great, as The Rock usually is.
Yeah, particularly when he plays The Rock, as he often does.
Yeah. And obviously Chris Evans, who I like Chris Evans. He's surprised me throughout the years. Because I've seen him in so many films, and wow, he has a range. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I think it's on Apple TV. He is a dad in that one, and it's really it's deep, a little bit dark. That's really great as well. Just a little sidebar there.
What series was that, sorry?
I cannot remember the name of it. It had I think it was him, and I think it was the lady from Downton Abbey.
Is this the one where his son is on trial for
Yeah.
a school shooting or
Yeah.
something? I've got a very vague recollection of
I
that.
really liked it because it was different. I hadn't seen him play that particular role before.
Mhm.
And I think in something like Red One, it is just refreshing to see that dynamic there of I keep saying The Rock, but I don't want to say The Rock. Dwayne Johnson and Chris Evans. I loved how he was so Chris Evans supposed to be like the really annoying one in a way, and then Johnson is supposed to be Dwayne Johnson, which is awesome. And just that dynamic there. And then when J.K. Simmons comes in, which he isn't in a ton of the movie.
He spends half of it asleep.
Yeah, but
Spoilers.
I'm sorry, but whenever I see J.K. Simmons in something, he's always the star of the show to me, because he could walk into the room and just pull that energy, and I love that about him.
Mm-hmm. But it was the same in the Spider-Man movies, wasn't it? With J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah. I would watch anything with him in it, just because I can't think of anything that I've seen him in. I mean, I'm sure there is something out there. I can't think of something that I've seen him in where he just didn't give.
Mm.
And I love that. Same thing with Chris Evans for the most part. In terms of his more recent movies, I don't really want to give my opinion on the 2010 movies. I have no comment at this point in time. Dwayne Johnson, I haven't seen every one of his movies, but he gives a good range. But the movies that are really popular with him in it are the ones where he is playing a specific character type. And that's okay, because each time it is a little different. And I like that about him, where I know Luke jokes around and says he just plays Dwayne Johnson or The Rock.
He generally does.
But it is different every time. Now, don't get me started on who's better, Dave Bautista or Dwayne Johnson, because I think we all know. Well, actually, I don't know if they know. I love Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. Anything, everything about him, love him.
Well, he actually has some range as well in terms of his performance.
Sometimes, yes.
He always does.
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Because was it "Don't Knock on the cabin door"?
Yeah, it was a cabin door or something
Something
like
like
that.
that. That was a brilliant,
Mm-hmm.
brilliant character for him to play. And he did it beautifully. Anyways, this is a Christmas one, but
Mm. Are there any Dave Bautista Christmas movies? Not that I can think of off the top of my
think
head.
of because I would have been watching it
Mm.
because I have to spark a little bit of or try to spark a little bit of joy into my life this season. I have been watching some Christmas films and some Christmas themed episodes of things. Um, it's been helping. I can see why people do it, but yeah, I think that's we should talk much more about Redbud. Which, by the way, if you're in the UK, it's gonna be on Prime soon.
I think it might already
Yeah,
be
it
on
might have come
Prime.
out yesterday.
I'm just going to quickly load up Prime
Yeah,
Video, and if it is out, it'll be right there, front and center.
it's either that or next Friday, I think. But yeah, I mean,
Red One out now, included with Prime, probably in the US as well. So,
yeah.
if you've got 2 hours to spare and want to watch some light entertainment, I would say give it a watch. It is old fashioned in terms of its plot and like the whole structure of it. This deadbeat dad learns to regain the love of his son by saving Christmas and so on.
But I love stuff like that
I know you
sometimes.
do. I know you do. And there's nothing wrong with liking
By the way, this is not an ad. It kind of sounds
it.
like it.
Brought to you by Amazon. No.
No, no, no. Um, yeah. I don't really I mean, if you guys are into early 2000s movies, I would say early 2000s,
Yeah,
like action and comedy movies, you'd probably feel very nostalgic watching this because the acting and the direction of it is just reminds us of that.
yeah, very much so.
And it's not in a bad way because there are people that have tried
Mm.
and failed. We're not going to name those names until later.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to start out with one of your favorites?
Scrooged.
Scrooged.
Yeah.
Oh,
When I was a kid, I loved Bill Murray. I thought he was the best. I also thought Arnold Schwarzenegger was the best, and Jack Nicholson was the best.
you said you thought they were the best?
I did, yes.
What's wrong now?
Well, Marlon Brando is the best, but anyway.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed Scrooged. I thought it was. If you've never seen it, it's like a more modern take on A Christmas Carol. Or, well, it's kind of dated now because he's a TV executive that's very heartless and makes his employees work on his 24/7 cable channel on Christmas Eve, and he's visited by the ghosts that take him to look at his past, the present, the future.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's general Bill Murrayism and
Star-studded as well.
yes. The only other actor off the top of my head that I can remember that was in it is what's his name? Bobcat Goldthwait, was that his name?
Yeah, okay, cool.
Don't talk like that in the movies.
I'm not a fan of him, but I can see why people think he's funny.
Yeah, I mean he was everywhere in the 80s.
It's just not my sort of humor.
Yeah, and he's one of the employees that is treated very badly by Bill Murray's character.
Yeah.
Who probably is called Scrooge. And he at the end he kind of goes on a bit of like a John Glover's in it. John Glover's in it.
Bobcat Goldthwait, Carol Kane.
Yeah, Mary's just looking at the IMDb now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should have said that. Oh, Alfred Woodward. I love her.
Yeah, but it's a very I'd say it's kind of family friendly, slightly mature, but not like inappropriate or full of swearing or nudity or anything like that.
Definitely say that. I don't remember watching the entire. I was just talking to Luke about this the other day. I didn't know this was going to be one of his favorites. But I was talking to him, and I was like, I don't think I've actually seen Scrooged all the way through, because in my family, it was one of those movies, along with one that I'm going to talk about, where you watched about half of it sitting down with the family, and then the next year you'd end up watching the other half, and then there would be a little bit in the middle where you just didn't get it. Like you didn't see it or anything like that. And I think that's what happened, because I went and I watched a clip or so of it, and I remembered it. like really like, oh yeah, that's what happened, and then everything else. But there's a chunk of it that I don't remember, and I think it's because it was one of those bits that were lost to me forever.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I like about it is okay, Bill Murray's character learns his lesson and
Hmm.
treats people better going forward, but he doesn't have like a radical transformation in character. He's still a bit of a dick.
Yeah,
It's just he's like, yeah, okay, I need to treat people better,
yeah.
which I feel is more realistic than the Charles Dickens Christmas Carol where Scrooge is like, "You boy, what day is this? Christmas goose for all."
Goose.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I it's been years since I've watched it, but I really enjoyed it particularly as a child.
It's a very dated movie now, but you could still watch it and appreciate it.
Oh yeah,
Unlike
absolutely.
some 80s movies nowadays.
Yeah, I think Bill Murray's got a bit of a mullet in it as well. Not a proper mullet, but like a halfway there.
Yeah. Did he have the same haircut in Ghostbusters?
No, he had short hair in
Short.
Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's all I had to say about Scrooge. I'm sure
Okay.
there'll be other people with different opinions on it or have more to add.
I
But...
hate Scrooge. I don't. I don't have a strong opinion about it other than it's not my sort of. It's not my sort of thing.
hmm
A lot of 80s movies just were not my thing. But as I say that,
Yeah, here we go. Let's go on to your one.
do you know what I'm gonna say?
No, I don't. Muppet Christmas Carol.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, okay.
I actually introduced this movie to my in-laws recently.
I know we had watched it
Yeah.
previously. It's just.
I know, but in terms of them actually remembering it and everything, and they laughed quite a lot.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be kind of inappropriate, but it's not. Like not. It's different between everybody's family what you think is appropriate and what's not. In my family, there was little to nothing that was like inappropriate when it came to comedy. And with this was something that like we watched every couple of years.
hmm
Chevy Chase and the gang. I just, it's so funny, but it's the type of awkward funny where you have been through something like that. Like in the American Family, you have gone through the needy guest, the overbearing guest, the awkward things in the shop. obviously not, obviously not buying underwear sometimes, but awkward shop thing. Just things just don't go exactly right. I loved it so much. And I'm glad I got to reintroduce that to my English family over here and
Yeah.
actually have them and hear them enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, it is a classic Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's on TV all the time
Yeah.
when I was growing up.
But I was, because they sat there. I just put it on in the background because I was like wanting something on in the background. We were having dinner, and all of us just sat down and just started watching it like unintentionally. And we sat there the entire time and just watched the whole thing. And we don't normally do stuff like that, do we?
No.
Yeah.
Although last Christmas we did something similar with Batman Returns.
Yeah, but it was just really nice to sit down and enjoy time that's just chill, where you're not having to force conversation or feel like somebody's talking and you're just like, I don't know what you're talking about, so I'm just gonna disassociate. We were just chilling, watching a film.
hmm
It was nice.
It was nice. Yeah, and again, it's another movie that is appropriate for most of the family. There's the odd little
Mhm.
light swear word and a little bit of risque stuff in there.
That's the thing that I was worried about because, mind you, this is what we have a younger niece, so that's what I was talking about, like what appropriate. Because I don't know what they let her watch and what they don't let her watch, so that's what I was saying about like the appropriateness.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's fine because I watched stuff a lot worse than that when I was a child. So.
Yeah, me too.
Um, yeah, I really enjoyed that, and I've enjoyed that movie a lot.
Mm,
I should watch some of the other ones again.
yeah. I just briefly want to mention, if you're done, by the way.
Oh yeah, I'm done.
If you're done, I briefly want to mention a movie that I always associate with Christmas, but it isn't a Christmas movie.
Mhm.
And that is the first Addams Family. Because it opens with Christmas carolers at the door of the Addams Family home.
See, I always put that down as a Christmas movie for some reason.
Because of that,
Yeah.
because it opens with people singing Christmas
Hmm.
carols, and then the Addams Family tar them.
Yeah.
But there's no other reference to Christmas afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's
I don't
not.
see it.
I don't think it is a Christmas movie. Maybe you, other people listening to this, might feel that actually, nope, it is a Christmas movie. Um, but I associate it with Christmas, but I don't think of it as being a Christmas movie. But I wanted to mention it because I love it because it's very funny.
Yeah, I love the Addams Family. I love most takes on the Addams Family, from when it was just pictures
Mm.
to now. I just really, oh, we should watch that again
We
soon.
should do, yes. And I was just reminded of my favourite joke from, okay, it's from the Addams Family Values, where Debbie says to Gomez, "Ah, what a lady killer." He shakes her hand, smiles, and goes, "Acquitted."
We did, yeah. But you just don't get stuff like that anymore, do you?
No, you
It's
don't. I love it. Um, that was a little
oh, rest in
diversion.
peace to the good one.
Oh yeah, Raul Julia. Yeah, he was excellent. Also, M Bison.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I guess. Am I breaking the rules if I talk about Batman Returns? I don't think so.
a little bit because we have talked about it, but that it's always up to you.
Batman Returns is my Christmas movie.
Yeah.
And I remember someone saying to me that movie was released in the summer when it came out. It's not a Christmas movie. Like, listen here. The final line of the film is "Merry Christmas, Master Wayne."
Yeah.
Couldn't do a very good.
It's really a Christmas film.
Yeah,
The entire thing
yeah.
is set around
It's set around
Christmas.
Christmas. Like, does everyone else check the release date of this movie? Like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. We'd like to watch a nice romantic movie. Sorry, we can't watch this one. It was released in November. Can't do that, sorry. Romancing the Stone. Oh, that came out in July. Can't watch that. Don't know why I said Romancing the Stone. Is that a romance movie? I don't think it is.
I don't remember.
I don't think it is. It's more of an action movie. I remember Danny DeVito was in one of them. He might have been in both of them, actually.
He might have been.
Maybe that's why I said it, the Danny DeVito connection. There's all these. You can see how the little strings in my brain work, how things connect together. But anyway, I think Batman Returns is the perfect alternative Christmas movie because
We end up watching it most years, don't we?
yes, we do. In fact, I've got it written down somewhere at what time to watch it to have at the stroke of midnight Alfred say "Merry Christmas, Master Wayne."
Mm-hmm. I'm asleep by then.
Yes, yeah. Well, in recent years I have been. But the thing I like about it is, okay, yes, it is set around Christmas. It's the whole turning on of the Christmas tree lights is the thing that keeps getting sabotaged.
Mm-hmm.
But Christmas isn't front and center of it. There's not like Batman running around going, "Oh my God, what am I gonna get Alfred for Christmas?" It's just it's a dark fairy tale,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I like about it. And I love Tim Burton's aesthetic. I don't love his movies. Like A Nightmare Before Christmas. Love the way it looks, but I don't
Oh,
really enjoy watching it.
you should tell everybody what I think about Nightmare Before Christmas.
Why don't you tell them?
I can't get past the first 20 minutes of that film. And I like certain musicals. All right, I do. I mean Guys and Dolls is one of my all-time favorite films, but I just couldn't. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I feel that in my head because so it's one of those things where everybody likes it.
Mhm.
And I couldn't it did not catch me, and I'm the type of person that can watch a quarter of a movie and just never watch the rest of it
Mhm.
because I get uninterested. And it might get better, but from some of the clips that I've seen, I just don't think it's a movie for me, and that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from the beauty of the animation and because it's the stop motion
Yeah.
stuff, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it
It's
is.
beautiful film,
Yeah.
but it's just not for me.
And we saw some of the models, didn't we, when we
Yeah,
went to
that was
the World
awesome.
of Tim Burton exhibition?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was good fun.
that's my thought. Those are my thoughts.
But getting back to Batman Returns, I think it's dark, it's a little bit sleazy, it's sad,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's a really beautiful aesthetic. The artwork of Tim Burton goes really nicely with snow somehow. I guess because he tends to do like a lot of black and white and greys and stuff, and
Mhm.
having all of this snow everywhere through that gothic Gotham City it's just aesthetically very pleasing. Danny DeVito as the Penguin is arguably the definitive performance, I would say. I mean, frankly, almost every live action Penguin has been highly influential, from Burgess Meredith, Danny DeVito, and Colin Farrell recently. And Michelle Pfeiffer as well. She
I
was
mean, I was
excellent.
waiting for you to say it. My Pinterest and the quotes, the journal and quotes section, it's just Michelle Pfeiffer's bedroom in that movie. And it's not even my aesthetic. And also like her with that blonde hair.
Mm-hmm.
And it just all frazzled because I mean that character when she's in that apartment is just every person after work. Like every person after work is just like, good God, the day that I've had, underworked, underpaid,
Overworked and
or
underpaid.
yeah, overworked, underpaid. I don't want to do this anymore, but I have to because I have to feed all of these cats.
And I have to pay for this crummy little apartment I live
Yeah,
in. Oh yeah, boy do I relate.
I love that so much that you got me. It was during the pandemic. The hello there
Hmm.
slash hell here neon sign,
Hmm.
which is spectacular. And we also have the movie poster in our bedroom next to that neon sign. So we do love that movie, don't
Yeah, we
we?
do, we do. And Christopher Walken is also excellent in it as well.
Yeah.
That is the first movie I can remember seeing him in, although I'm sure I had seen others.
Yeah.
So when I saw him without like the big white hair, I was always very confused. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
who's that?
Who dat?
Yeah, but yeah, who knew that was a wig?
Yeah.
Well, everyone but me when I first watched it. But it's funny, it was another one of those movies that my dad bought for us on VHS, and I practically wore it out.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's another one I really, really enjoy. How long are we going for now? So we're at about 20 minutes. So
Yeah.
there's still time for you to talk about your last pick. Or perhaps you could have a mini pick like I did with Adam's Family and then move on.
Talked about one movie, thank you.
Yeah, I know.
So instead of talking about just one movie in particular, I'll just do some rapid fire ones.
You're just breaking the rules now.
Obviously, Christmas Story. I did not grow up loving that movie. Um, I did not care for it. And then before I left Oklahoma, I don't know who was watching it, but I think it was Luke had just come to visit. So this was in 2008, and I went into the living room a couple days later, and then somebody was watching the movie. I sat down and I watched it, and I was like, "Good God, this is funny. I can relate to this movie." Not the BB gun thing, but the whole thing. I think it's kind of like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where there's so many relatable things in there, especially for the you know, middle America family. Uh, so yeah, there's that. Um, I would be completely and utterly taking away from my childhood if I did not mention I'll Be Home for Christmas with Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I don't love that movie as an adult, but it was one of the only like kid Christmas movies that I watched, and I can't remember how I watched it because I didn't seek it out. It must have just been on, and it was nice to watch that because the kid from Home Improvement was in it. Santa Claus,
Mm,
another one that's more recent, Christmas Chronicles.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yes, you have. You sat and watched it with me. It has Kurt Russell and Goldie
Oh,
Hawn.
okay, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
okay.
a whole there's chronicles of it.
Yeah,
There's two.
we've watched two.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
there's only two.
Okay.
I liked that. It was fun. It's not, again, these are not the typical movies and genres that I watch, but yeah. And then Frosty the Snowman.
Hmm. But Jack Frost, have you ever seen Jack Frost with Michael Keaton?
No, I have not.
Do you know what? I've never seen it all the way through as well. I'm told it's very sad.
Yeah, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah,
Miracle on 34th Street.
not one of my favorites.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a good movie. Well, it's a great movie, but again, it's not one of my favorites. But
Mm.
I think it's because I've seen it so many times throughout the years, or seen most of the movie. I have seen the entire movie a few times. But you know those times when you walk into a place or whatever. And I also worked at a video store, so you can imagine how many times I've actually seen it. Um Yeah, that has to be one of those movies. There's a reason why it goes down in the history books. It's because it's a great movie, but anyone who ever worked at a video store, especially around Christmas time, there are Christmas movies that you will never want to hear about ever again. Um and that's not, I guess I because I've recently wanted to watch that over again, but I just, there for a long time I was just like, no thanks. No. And those are my picks for now. Do you have any more picks?
Oh.
You're not a Christmas movie you're not a festive person.
Mm. You make it sound like I'm a Scrooge, because I'm not a Scrooge.
You used to be.
No, I'm all for other people having fun. It's just the kind of stuff that they enjoy doing around Christmas isn't really what I view as fun.
You used to
So,
be a
no,
Scrooge.
I didn't. I was
Yeah, you
never
were
a
the
Scrooge.
Grinch.
No, I never was. I was always like, yeah, you do what you want to do, but I'm not doing it.
And now he has to.
Yeah, this morning, getting up to the garden centre at 9 o'clock for it to open so you could look at the little Christmas trees.
Excuse me. You were the one who offered.
I said that I had been thinking about going there at some point, and then you were like, "We're going to go up there tomorrow, and we're going to go look at the Christmas trees." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, because I made I made a mini Batman tree, and I wanted a mini Barbie tree, so I made one today.
Yes, it's right here in front of us.
And then we come home. After we left the garden center with tons of Christmas lights, we come home to find that on the regular Christmas tree, Gilly had chewed the cable to the Christmas lights.
Yeah, he killed them.
They're dead.
Mm-hmm. So really, the Grinch here, the Scrooge here, is actually Gilgamesh the cat.
That's not true, because Gilly just chews on cords.
He chose those chords specifically. He was going bah humbug as he nibbled through them.
No,
But he was.
I think he was just looking for a cord to chew.
Maybe. Anyway, are we done talking about Christmas movies? This has been very rambling all over the place. Mary didn't actually make any notes this time because she thought we were talking about something else and then remembered that, oh, yeah, it's supposed to be Christmas movies. So, yeah. Do you want to move on?
Let's get to the comments.
Okay. So first we have Harry Flew TV who says, my favourite holiday specials are SpongeBob's Christmas Who, Eddsworld's Santa Claus trilogy, Batman the Animated Series Christmas with the Joker. Honestly, I find that episode funny and it's nostalgic because it was the first BTAS episode I ever watched on VHS. The 2015 Krampus film. Krampus is in Red 1 as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
And Terrifier 3. I know that came out in October, but since it's Christmas themed, I'll count it. Yeah, there we go. It does count.
It does.
Happy holidays, you two. Also, at 4350, don't be a dick, Luke. For real, though, I love your humour. Have a great week, you two. I will be as dickish as I like. Thank you.
What was the context of that?
I don't know. I was probably teasing someone.
Yeah. Sometimes he sounds like he's being super mean, and he is. But sometimes he sounds super mean, and he's not. He thinks that everybody gets his sense of humor. And I'm going to be honest with you. I only get it about 35% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Next comment, we have the Phantasm who says, hope you guys have a great Christmas. Didn't really mention any holiday specials last time because I don't really rewatch any, honestly. In terms of the DCAU, I just rewatch Holiday Nights from time to time. But really, that's pretty much it. I may catch the occasional return of Christmas classics on TV, or rerun, excuse me, of Christmas classics on TV, but again, that's it, really. You just put out a video about Holiday Nights, didn't you, Mary?
Sure did.
I'm sure everyone listening to this has watched it already.
I doubt it.
I bet they have.
That's okay. You don't have to watch all of my videos.
Well, they probably do.
I love that they do. I just love that they just comment and we actually just have like conversations. It's nice. I have a lot of friends now.
Next we have David Carney. Hello David, how are you doing? There's a couple of shows I really enjoy. Batman the Animated Series Christmas with the Joker, a Hawaii Five-0 Christmas episode with Steve and Danny cutting down a tree that they shouldn't have. There is also an NCIS episode with a pregnant Marine. Have a great week and a wonderful Christmas, both of you. Same to you, David. Same to you.
Oh my gosh. I think I know which episode of NCSI you're talking about. My grandparents used to... CBS was like the only channel that they watched. And that I think I do remember. I don't know why I'm dragging this out, but I'm trying to my mind to remember a good time. I like that.
Next, we have Doc Widener, who says, "Thank goodness you're here. Given how Ohio State managed to crap the bed against Michigan and earlier the U.S. election, you two are one of the bright spots I have left on YouTube." It's very nice of you to say.
Gotta be honest with you. We're gonna get political right now. There are some states that I'm highly disappointed in.
Well. Continuing his comment, I too had comments from the final episode of Penguin Go Missing. I'm wondering if maybe some of the words used talking about the penguin got it dropped. Wish I would get notified. I love that series, loved and hated that final episode. I recall I had some great comments, but I had no idea what they were now. It's always the way. Can't recall if it was that video or another where I mentioned how much I love the Lego Batman, Star Wars, and Indiana Jones games. Yes, I remember you mentioning that one. In part because I played them with my older son. Currently, I've been replaying Fallout and Infocom games along with my Star Trek Rimlines phone game and stuff like Wordle, Nerdle, Strands, and other games. The New York Times game page. At the New York Times game page, excuse me.
I almost started playing Fallout, but I started playing.
No, why are you laughing?
Started playing Power Wash Simulator.
Oh yes, yeah, you were really into it last night.
Play it again tonight.
Good. Well, that's what I downloaded it for, so you play it. Have enjoyed most of the Doctor Who Christmas specials. The first Tennant one with the homicidal Christmas tree might be my favourite. The Children in Need special, Dimensions in Time, got my Doctor Who mixed it in with your EastEnders. Yes, that's right, it did.
You know what? I'm surprised I didn't mention the Doctor Who Christmas specials because I used to like those a lot.
Mm-hmm. Depending on where you lived, if you had enough UHF stations, you might have had both UPN and WB. Other markets, which it sounds like yours, was the station carried both networks. The CW was the outgrowth of that when the two combined in 2006. I get where you're coming from on Roseanne, much like J.K. Rowling or Kevin Spacey or insert writer, actor, director, musician of your choice. It is hard to separate the art from the artist. I, of course, grew up with the Rankin Bass Speaking of Despair. I still recall Nestor, the long-eared Christmas donkey. Picture a show animated like Rudolph or A Year Without a Santa Claus. Imagine Rudolph as a donkey but with really long ears who, like Rudolph, gets bullied. He gets exiled into the cold and his mother comes out of the bitterly cold weather to rescue him. She finds him and shelters him from the cold and dies from exposure in the process.
Oh my god, Rudolph mixed with Bambi.
Yeah, nearly traumatized me as a kid. Another sad one was My So-Called Life Christmas episode. My So-Called Angels. Ricky gets kicked out of his parents' house for his bisexuality and is forced to live on the street as the temperature drops. I'm sure this one's been mentioned before. Which I suppose is slightly better than the regular beatings his father delivers over his son's behaviour. You have no idea how fervently I wish for a day where I say that sort of sentence and someone younger than me claims that sort of thing never really happened. Angela wants Ricky to stay at her house, but her mum, Patty, doesn't really think much of his lifestyle either, so it's out in the snow for Ricky. Following him is a mysterious girl with a wonderful voice played by Juliana Hatfield. She's there with Ricky after he moves into a sort of makeshift homeless shelter other kicked out kids and runaways form. When Angela goes to visit him, her mum gets worried and follows her. That's when she meets Hatfield and begins telling her about her own poor home life that led to the streets. Eventually, Angela's mum realizes that she is talking to a ghost, some young girl who froze to death, as Ricky is now in danger of. This prompts Angela's mum to bring Ricky home, even though she still doesn't really approve of him. That's uplifting, right? No, it's not! Heaven had to send down a damned angel just to make Angela's mum stop looking at some poor freezing LGBT kid who had just been beaten up and was her daughter's best friend, and then responding with more than a, what are you going to do? People actually had to be taught this by the TV box for it to sink in. On a cheerier note, one of my favourites is a Thanksgiving Day episode of WKRP called Turkeys Away. All these years later, I still laugh uncontrollably at spots.
I cannot believe that after... Actually, no, I can. My So-Called Life is still just as awesome as it was when it came out. The lessons that we learned and we saw people learn from that TV show is astonishing. Even in the year 2024, that show is still very impactful. I need to rewatch that soon.
Buffy had one Christmas-themed episode, Amends, which was pretty good. Only Christmas one they ever did. Also, not really a Christmas episode. It came out in February. Possibly the best episode of Lost, the content. Had one scene with Penny and Desmond set at Christmas. Not sure if you guys watched Smallville. If you guys watched Smallville, but Lexmas was kind of a total episode in Lex's arc.
I need to watch Smallville because
Do we?
my mother used to tell me about this all of the time. She'd be like, "Oh, have you watched Smallville? You should watch Smallville. It's on regular TV. It's on regular TV." I was like, "I am watching Imitation of Life. Thank you very much. The first one's always the best one." And she's like, "You should watch it." And now that you say that, I probably will watch it.
So continuing Doc's comment, he says, I think the Sony comment may have been about Morbius, Craven, or Venom, where Sony keeps using Spider-Man villains more as anti-heroes than villains, though I imagine he will have actually given you an answer. I liked Agatha, I think you'll enjoy it, Mary. Also like Tokyo Godfathers and Scrooged. Need to finish up because leaving in an hour or so for a holiday light parade in the village of Baltimore.
I miss those.
In the summer, my younger son swims rec league there, my older son coaches. The temp is supposed to be around -4 or -5 degrees C, so I need to bundle up. No, not wearing swimsuits for the float. May try to send pictures. And I forwarded your picture folder over to Mary. I don't know if she's looked at it yet, but I did forward it.
Much like some of the YouTube notifications, I will have Luke send me something, and it takes 3 days before I actually get notified on my phone. It'll be there in the folder, but if I don't get notified on my phone, I don't know if it's my ADHD or just that I don't notice anything until I get notified. Because I've seen some emails that I probably should have got back to recently, and
whoops.
Yeah. See.
Next comment is Ryan Jones. Hello, Ryan. Hope you're well. It says, hello, I hope you have a great Christmas. My list of Christmas episodes and specials are Batman the Animated Series Christmas with the Joker, which is funny because it sounds like an hour-long American TV special. Mickey's Christmas Carol, the only Fools and Horses Christmas special. I know they don't take place at Christmas, but they were released on Christmas Day. Heroes and Villains, the Jolly Boys Outing, and Rodney Come Home. Oh, yes. A Looney Tunes Sylvester and Tweety episode called Gift Wrapped. Ice Age, A Mammoth Christmas, a Disney short called Pluto's Christmas Tree, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special.
Forgot about
There's
that
one with Big Dave. Yeah.
That one's obviously great.
Obviously, someone listening to this would have been screaming at us going, how could you forget the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas Special?
That.
Where Big Dave kidnapped Kevin Bacon. Well, we've mentioned it now. Better late than never. Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas because it gives me hope of humanity, or hope of humanity. The Mr. Bean Christmas special, known as Merry Christmas, Mr. Bean. And finally, The Snowman.
The Mr. Bean Christmas special. I think it was on PBS. Is the first time I watched it. Because I'd watch Mr. Bean. Because my stepdad would put it on. Look at me now. Living the dream in somewhere in England.
It's actually quite sunny today. I was going to say sunny in England sarcastically, but it actually is very sunny. Anyway, moving on to the next comment from Big Mikey P on his second account, Mikey Part 2.
I love Mikey Part 2.
Hasn't made a third account, Grand Michel Troisième, is what I would call it. But anyway. Sorry for the late post. Shadow Band's got to me. Yeah, Shadow. Yeah. Anyway, Christmas specials. Hard to believe, but I was one of those young guys who never grew up on said animation of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Snowman, and that Snoopy special. Did watch the Disney Uncle Scrooge McDuck version of A Christmas Carol, though. Not sure if the original book was my very first exposure to the story. Oh, and did also watch the season 1 finale for The Real Ghostbusters. Xmas marks the spot. Who would have thought A Christmas Carol is an actual event in the universe and one with a time vortex connected? In Mary's defense, Interview with the Vampire is a really good movie adaptation. Same can't be said about its sequels. Pass on EastEnders and Coronation Street for the time being. Yeah, I mean, there are like thousands of episodes to catch up on, so there's no point in even trying.
Have we watched any of the sequels to Interview with the Vampire?
No.
I don't think so. The TV show is pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was, but she was actually pretty funny. She was on TikTok, and a lot of her page was just talking about how hot all of the vampires were. And I was like, you and I have very different definitions of hot, but you go, girl. You speak your mind. Does it make me want to watch it now? even more. Sure does. Sure does. Not because of apparent hot people, but I didn't know it had a season 2.
As an aside for holiday nights, the unincluded Mr. Freeze tale from the original comic version seems to still be canon as an interquel to Heart of Ice and Deep Freeze. Yeah, I mean, I see that works for me.
Word.
What's the name of the show with the baby again? We're going to have to narrow it down a bit more, I'm afraid. Unless we're talking about Family Guy or something. I don't know. I wonder if there's a Christmas episode of Xavier Renegade Angel. Strange to not hear the Muppets or again Blackadder with the Christmas special Christmas Carol adaptations in mind.
What, you want to explain why?
Mary doesn't like puppets.
And it's not that I don't like them. It's I have an actual phobia of puppets. I can very minimal, very like if they're on the screen, I have to turn my head. But my watch once told me that I was having like I needed to slow down because my heart rate went up so much because there was a puppet on the screen. So no, there's no Muppet movies here.
Okay.
That's all I have to say about that.
So to continue Michael's slightly smaller comment than usual, he'll say, we'll await the Christmas films vids, so many to talk about. With shadow bans in mind, hope someone like H-Bomber Guy will report them. Somewhat close to the pronunciation, Bomb Kuchen, for Bomb Kuchen, actually. Okay.
Did you just say the same thing?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't know. I don't remember how I said it last time anyway.
I don't know. I can't remember either.
Fewer comments than expected for the last flip side. Well, apparently some of them were not saved by YouTube. Something weird going on there. Talking about video games Sunday, please discuss TIE Fighter and maybe even X-Wing for one. I probably won't, to be honest. Mary never played those and she's not really into Star Wars. I'm not massively into Star Wars either, to be honest.
I just didn't grow up on it like a lot of people did. I've only I say recent, it's been about 10 years ago now, saw the first Star Wars movie, and it was alright, actually. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah, they're fine.
But, I don't think I'd watch the newer... With Disney and Marvel and Star Wars at the moment, it's just like, to keep up with everything that comes out, you would have to have it as your job, as well as your hobby, and I cannot do that at the moment to keep up with everything. Like I have to watch a whole series of something to go watch the new Captain America movie.
Oh, you don't have to watch it. It would help, but you don't have to watch it.
I love that actor though. He's awesome. But yeah, I feel yeah,
conflicted.
I don't know what the word is. I'm
overwhelmed
with all of the Disney, Marvel, Disney, Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot.
And it's great that that it's out there because people that have wanted that for so long actually have it now, and they have a lot of it. So I'm really happy for them. But it's never really been my thing.
So on to the last comment from Lowell Lucas Jr. who says, "Hey, today it's totally Schway. Never got my notifications. No way. Apologies to your poor throat, Lucas. I wrote quite a bit. I'm a sucker for Christmas and Halloween, so I get festive."
I love Halloween.
From now on, I'm going to check both of your channels Sunday as I didn't get a single notification. Unbelievable. You know, it's funny actually, in the YouTube analytics setting, it tells you how many of your notifications failed to be sent out to people. And it's something like 10 to 15% most of the time. And there's no real explanation why. Anyway, also, Luke, talking for an American from the 80s, yes, we're familiar with The Snowman, both the book and the special, which brought us tears. Can't believe it got a sequel with a dog. We also enjoyed the Rupert Bear TV series. Early Disney Channel and other networks showed the Rupert Holiday special, but this was incredibly rare. Oh, good. I'm glad somebody else knew what I was talking about. Speaking of Disney, the Mickey Christmas Carol is still a staple in my household every year. Scrooge McDuck stole the show and would forever show the ducks dominate the TV series over the mouse for years to come. Now, for Christmas specials, there's staples like How the Grinch Stole Christmas, both Chuck Jones and Jim Carrey. Nightmare Before Christmas, Garfield Christmas, and a barrage of Christmas carols from Mickey, Mr. Magoo, and even the Dark Chuck Jones version. But it's these three that I'd like to recommend. Number 1. The Man Who Came to Dinner, featuring an insufferable man who slips in front of a house on the holidays? On the front of a house on the holidays, possibly? Even Glinda is in the movie as a lovable ditzy wife. Rankin Bass, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus. Literally a Thundercat special, as every voice actor in here as Santa is played by Mum-Ra, and even Tingle is played by Snarf, no lie. Any Futurama episodes with Robot Santa, he'd gun down Stan Smith for not treating Klaus better. Lastly, I want to thank you for the great content and responses to my quick videos. Means a lot. I will do more soon and love the review of the BTAS colouring books. Yeah, Ty Templeton liked it as well, which made me really embarrassed that I said I didn't like his mudslide drawing. He clarified that the editor suggested that scene to him because he wanted Alfred to be in the book and thought that was a good Alfred scene. Which is true, it is. Also, really, Mary, you're not a fox girl. What about Peg from Married with Children? That's a dysfunctional family.
Oh, we love Peg. I wasn't I liked Married with the Children when it was on, but nowadays I think again it comes to that thing and I'm saying it all of the time. It was on repeats on I can't remember what channel it was now. But it was on like every day and then I would end up watching that if I was at like my aunt's house or something, or excuse me, my uncle's house, and I just ended up watching probably every episode about 10 times within like a 5 year period.
Mm-hmm.
So I uh I think I just get annoyed with that show, even though it is great. It is one of those shows where just like National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, you there has to be an episode that you relate to. There is definitely an episode you relate to, no matter what country you grew up in. You're like, yeah, that awkward, really weird type of family stuff going on is definitely that.
Okay. Then to Luke, Bart stealing the video game is a Christmas episode. Don't forget that Santa is giving Bart a gift from jail through the speaker box. I'm a Fox guy before Friends took it over, so I do miss how it used to be. Also, I wanted to share that I'm getting cross-linking surgery soon on my eye on the 6th of January. Please keep me in prayer. Hope you all have a great holiday and beware of Santa Claus from Futurama. He carries an Uzi.
You are definitely gonna be in my good vibes and great tides, happy thoughts, because all of those are gonna go toward you because that surgery is gonna be it's gonna go great. And you are going to be talking to us in no time because you're one of my favorites.
You're all one of her favourites. All right, that's it for the comments. So all that's left now, Mary, is tell us what we're talking about next time.
We are going to talk about the music that changed our lives in television.
TV music that changed our lives. Damn, I'm going to have to think about that for a couple of weeks.
And I know there's one thing I'm going to talk about that's going to annoy me just to talk about it. And there's only one hint I'm going to leave you with.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
no!
Love you guys. Bye. Happy holidays.
And a happy new year.